Good afternoon and welcome to our webinar on constructive grading. Today we're looking at the way that we monitor activity in schools, colleges and other education establishments, and how we can ensure that our feedback is constructive and facilitates the process of ultimately improving the quality of education and teaching. A key focus within any education establishment. And of course, this is part of a series of webinars that we're running to highlight some of the key issues facing education, which includes new productive practices and an opportunity to display some of the solutions that we have available. Hi, my name is Damien Roberts. I'm one of the directors and co-founders of Deventio Education. We're an education-focused software house based in the city of Derby in the UK, which is primarily responsible for developing tools for educational improvement like SchooliP and CollegeiP. We've been in business since 2006, and we now work with thousands of schools, colleges, and educational institutions across the globe. I've shared my contact details here, and please do get in touch if you want further information. There are also links here to our social media channels. We pride ourselves on keeping these updated with the latest information, so please join the conversation there. Please follow, like, and share. So what are we going to discuss today? Well, the presentation is split into three parts. Firstly, we'll look at the possible flaws of traditional grading and discuss why perhaps these grades are wrong and detrimental. Secondly, we'll look at what is constructive grading and talk about the benefits too. And finally, we'll look at how to implement constructive grading and how this can be achieved in the IP suite. So, on to our first section, the flaws of traditional grading. Lesson observations play a pivotal role in the professional development of educators. They provide valuable insights into teaching practices, helping educators identify strengths and areas for improvement. However, the traditional approach to grading lesson observations has often been a source of stress and anxiety for teachers. In this webinar, we'll explore the concept of constructive grading, which focuses on transforming the observation process into a supportive, growth-oriented experience for teachers, fostering a culture of continuous improvement in schools and colleges. Well, the NASUWT is a teachers' union supporting teachers in the UK. And by putting teachers first, the NASUWT works to enhance the status of the teaching profession to deliver real improvements to teachers' working lives, seeking to ensure that they are recognised and rewarded as highly skilled professionals with working conditions that enable them to focus on their core role of teaching. The NASUWT has always opposed the practice in some schools of grading the outcome of lesson observations. It is well established that observation grades cannot be awarded on a valid or reliable basis and should not, therefore, be used to form judgments about the performance of individual teachers, particularly in the context of schools' performance management arrangements. In light of the serious limitations of grading individual lessons, Ofsted discontinued the use of lesson grades in school inspections in 2014. The conventional grading system used in lesson observations often involves assigning a numeric score or letter grade to an educator's performance. While this method might provide a quick snapshot of the observed lesson, it tends to oversimplify complex teaching practices. Teachers can feel reduced to a mere number or grade without fully understanding specific areas that need attention and growth. Additionally, the traditional grading approach can create a culture of fear and competitiveness among educators. The fear of receiving low grades might discourage risk-taking and experimentation, hindering innovation and creativity in the classroom. Furthermore, it can lead to a lack of trust between educators and evaluators, ultimately undermining the observation process's effectiveness. So on to the next step in our presentation. What is constructive grading? Constructive grading aims to revolutionize the lesson observation process, shifting the focus from assigning grades to providing meaningful, specific feedback to educators. The key principles of constructive grading include growth mindset, so embracing a growth mindset approach where feedback is seen as an opportunity for improvement rather than a judgment of one's capabilities. Specific feedback, instead of general praise or criticism, constructive grading offers teachers detailed feedback on various aspects of their teaching, highlighting strengths and suggesting actionable areas for improvement. Collaborative reflection, encouraging teachers and evaluators to engage in collaborative reflection after the observation. This dialogue fosters a deeper understanding of the teaching process and creates a sense of partnership between educators and evaluators. And then finally, there's goal setting, involving teachers in setting their own professional development goals based on the feedback received, empowering them to take ownership of their growth journey. The benefits of constructive grading are professional growth. So by focusing on feedback and improvement rather than grades, teachers are more likely to embrace and apply constructive criticism to enhance their teaching practices continually. Trust and collaboration. A constructive grading approach fosters trust between educators and evaluators, promoting a collaborative and supportive culture within educational institutions. Innovation and creativity. Removing the fear of negative grades encourages teachers to experiment with new teaching techniques and innovative pedagogies, ultimately benefiting students' learning experiences. Personalized development. Teachers receive personalized feedback tailored to their specific needs, helping them address individual challenges and capitalize on their strengths. So finally, how can we implement constructive grading? To effectively implement constructive grading in lesson observations, educational institutions can take the following steps. Professional development for evaluators. They can provide training to evaluators on delivering constructive feedback and promoting a growth-oriented approach. Clear criteria and rubrics. Establish transparent criteria and rubrics for observation, ensuring evaluators focus on essential aspects of teaching. Teacher involvement. Encourage teachers to actively participate in the observation process, promoting a sense of ownership and commitment to their professional growth. Supportive culture. Foster a culture that values continuous improvement, where educators feel safe to take risks and learn from mistakes. Constructive grading presents a transformative approach to lesson observations in schools and colleges. By shifting the focus from grading to constructive feedback, educators are empowered to embrace growth, improve their teaching practices, and create a positive impact on student learning. Embracing this approach can lead to a thriving educational environment where collaboration and innovation flourish, ultimately benefiting both teachers and students alike. And finally, if you simply must grade your lessons, it doesn't make sense to grade lessons as it provides a picture of the current status. It does make sense to grade lessons as it provides a picture of the current status of the quality of teaching delivered at the school or college. But sometimes these grades do not need to be fed back to the teacher. Feedback should ideally be constructive and developmental. Let's be straight, nobody enjoys being labelled inadequate. Try changing these harsh Ofsted grades to outstanding, embedded and developing practice. This enables schools and colleges to highlight areas of excellence or where practice is embedded as part of the culture, and then also identifies the proportion of staff who have areas which need developing, which is a normal part of staff development. If teaching practice is inadequate, the member of staff should probably be removed from the normal flow of professional development and appraisal and moved on to an intervention strategy. In terms of grades, I always like to think of it as, would we be happy to label the students with these grades? How would parents receive these grades too? In terms of students, I've seen language such as working towards or working below expected levels, working at the expected level, and achieving greater depth. This language is far more constructive, and if we must employ a grading system, we should consider the style of language used here. Now, in the IP suite, SchooliP, CollegeiP, etc., it is possible to completely configure the language used on any ratings, gradings, including the lesson observation forms. In this example that we've got on screen here, we have used the gradings outstanding, embedded, and developing practice. The key with each of these gradings is that they are also accompanied by constructive feedback statements, which clearly explain why these gradings have been received. There's also an opportunity to elaborate further using the comments box on the right too. You can also set the colors that are employed. The IP suite helps schools and colleges to monitor staff with predefined forms, criteria, and gradings, and then to report on them in real time too. And don't forget that the IP suite supports regular feedback at the point when it is needed most as part of the blogging facility, which is available on the web or via your mobile device. So thanks for watching. If you'd like to find out more about school and college improvement platform, you can book a free online demonstration by simply scanning the QR code. In this brief demonstration, I'll be able to talk you through how we help with staff appraisal and professional development, development plans, self-evaluation, self-assessment, policy management, school and college-wide audits, like the sustainability audit that we discussed in the last webinar. We're currently helping over 700 schools and colleges manage their improvement. Follow the link here or scan the QR code. A demonstration simply takes 10 or 15 minutes of your time. I would highly recommend booking a brief online demonstration and discussing with us how we can support you in implementing constructive grading at your school or college. Do look out for our future webinars too. And finally, here is a list of our webinars. Should you wish to watch them again or book in on the future, you will find that all of our completed webinars are available on our website at https://www.deventioeducation.com, support and resources /webinars. Simply scan the QR code to be taken to these webinars, and this is the final webinar before half term, but we'll return in November to discuss promoting staff well-being, looking at professional dialogue, and later in December, we'll visit the policy management module. So goodbye for now, and I hope to see you at one of our webinars in the future.